Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to Ham Radio Live, show about radio for people who love radio. Today, 20 hours of FT8 results, the FT891, and your solar forecast. Hang on.
Everywhere is freaks and harris, dykes and ferries. Tell me where is sanity?
Song requested by Tom, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey in Bahrain. Here you go, my friend, changing that world.
Tax the rich, feed the poor. Tell there are no rich no more.
Song by 10 Years After. It's called I'd Love to Change the World. Wherever you may be in this gorgeous world of ours, happy Wednesday. It's 27th day of April 2022, and away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shack in Oregon. My name's Larry. My call sign, Amateur Radio's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Happy Wednesday. It's nice to see you. Sorry we're late today. Just a few things got in the way, but we got it figured out. That's the main thing. Our whole passion is trying to help you to get your amateur radio license. It's such a great hobby. Look, I've said for a long time, I don't do digital. I just use a microphone, right? Because that's what I like to do. Well, maybe you like to do a digital mode that maybe you let the computer do the work. I'm going to show you today how a newbie like me let that happen and just how many calls it made. I hope you like that segment. Plus, we're going to talk about a goner, but a good one. It's the FT891 by Yaesu, a really good radio that you can either use portable or at your home. Good radio, really is. Plus, we'll have your forecast and a little bit of important amateur radio news today in the show. But the main thing is to get your radio license. If you'd like to do it, say, for example, you've always wanted to be an amateur radio operator, right? Get your ham license. The first step, get a hold of a large club that'll help you get your license. That's calling someone like the American Radio Relay League at www.arrl.org. Please make sure and hit the Contact Us bar. They'll send you an email back with a ham radio club that's near you who can help you get your license. You just contact that club in the email and they'll help you learn about the test, pass it, get on the air and get yourself rolling. www.arrl.org. Want to reach me on the show? Email at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. And we also have a Discord page. I want to thank some great people for really putting some time in. For me, seriously, I mean, I'm amazed. Jeff in East Tennessee, as well as Dirk in the state of Wisconsin, thanks for your great work you've done on the Discord channel. Guys, it looks great. It looks just great. Thank you. Wow. I can't do that stuff, so to me, it's pretty darn special. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you guys on a beautiful Wednesday. Let's do some welcomes. First one in the shack, it comes from Central Florida. That is my friend Adam, November Yankee 5 Echo. Welcome to the show, Adam. Good to see you, mate. November Yankee 5 Echo. How are the little horsies doing? Are they good? I hope they're all healthy and well. Second one, and only by a hair, my friend Charlie, Red Summit RF, November Juliet 7 Victor. Happy Wednesday, my friend. It's nice to see you, Charlie. Skeeter, Kilo 7 Tango Romeo Delta keeps me smiling. I like this guy a lot.
Hey, boy.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
Quick.
Absolutely. Skeeter's here. Welcome, Skeeter. Happy Wednesday, pal. The state of New Hampshire, very well represented here. It's Daniel. Hi, Daniel. I hope things are going good for you, as well as John Hummel Newell. Victor Echo 5, Juliet Hotel November. Prayers still going out to you, buddy, with the coronavirus. I hope you get better soon. Okay, bud? Rodney W., that is a first-timer. Call. Look at this call sign. Papa Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey. That is Holland. Thank you for being here. Rodney, thank you. It's an honor to meet you. Thank you so much. Wow. From Las Vegas, Nevada, that's Gary Strong. Hi, Gary, Whiskey 9 Papa Yankee. My mate, Jeff. Now, this is one of the guys who did the great work on the Discord channel and just is really just locking it up. Jeff, thanks. November 4, Papa Oscar Delta, thank you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that segment. Rodney said, thank God I'm late. Well, that's the other side of the coin, right? If you're a little late, some people can't make it because you're a little late, and some new ones might be able to. I'm really glad you're here, Rodney. Thank you for coming. Roger and Molly are here. Hi, Roger. Kilo Juliet 7 Lima X-ray, as well as our mate, Indy, all the way from Australia. Indy, it is so good to see you again, my friend.
That's a knife.
Absolutely. Indy, welcome to the show. Rod's here from Pennsylvania, Whiskey 3, Mike Papa Golf. He's got some pretty cool things that he's working on in the background. Do you want to talk about it, Rod? If you do, let me know, okay? And Jeff, thank you. Like and subscribe. That's very, very kind. There's our other super administrator. That's Dirk, Whiskey 9, Romeo Delta Yankee. He's like the assistant director of the show here on Ham Radio Live. Dirk, it's good to have you. Thanks for being here. Good to be with you. Indy from Australia. Good day, all. I'm about to get mobile, so I guess I won't be typing too much. Well, I hope we can entertain you along the way, wherever you may be there in Australia. Indy, drive safe, all right? Dirk, with a good reminder, come chat with us on Discord. We do a Discord chat after the live show where we just talk about stuff. It could be radio, it could be health related, it could be whatever. We just chat it up. So if you'd like to join us, that's the Discord link. Please put it in your browser and join us after the show, and we'll have a nice time together, right? We will indeed. Andy New from the UK, Mike 7, Charlie November. Welcome. Bass from Holland. It's good to see you. You're in the hospital again. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to do our very best to make sure that while you're in the hospital, at least for this hour, that you have a good time and we make you smile a little bit and hopefully maybe a little bit of laughter, okay?
The jig is up.
Yeah, we're going to make you feel better, Bass, okay? All right. My dear friend Wendy, all the way from Florida. Hi, Wendy. Whiskey 4 Lima Sierra. It's always good to see you. Patty Roach here from UK, 2 Echo 0 Tango Whiskey Delta. Sorry, hold on. I have to have the mic hotter for WRMI, so when I cut that show for shortwave, it's got to be a hotter mic. My apologies. Patty, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for coming today on a beautiful Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Will Myers from the beautiful state of Wisconsin, Kilo Alpha 8 Golf India Mike. We got 2 Wisconsinites here. Thanks for being here. Rodney, booming propagation on 15 and 17 between Europe and the U.S. right now, just at FYI, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you. All right, let's get in that weather in just a moment. I do want to tell you, speaking of WRMI, we're going to have some fun on WRMI here tomorrow. We're all over the world with the show, so please look for CQ calling on various frequencies throughout the broadcast day at WRMI on Thursdays, okay? We do have a show question today. Should be a lot of fun, and this is not the show question. I'll get it up here in a second. Let me make Kevin's thing disappear. Just a moment here. I think you'll like this one because it can be anything you really want it to be. You know, it doesn't have to be your farthest. It can just be your favorite. What is your favorite QSO you've ever made? Let us know in the comment section, I should say, and we'll make it part of the show. It's my first day doing YouTube. Thanks for coming, everybody. The weather today, powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. This is a beautiful A1A. It really is. And this is not what's going on today. If you kind of found propagation kind of dipping a little bit here within the last 45 minutes to an hour, I'll tell you why. The backside of the sun, look at all those sunspots. Take a look at that. There is no kidding. We have 8 sunspots visible on the backside of the sun. Front side looks like this, and here's the problem. It's a coronal hole, and it's facing Earth. We've got a little bit of a BZ component that was negative. So our Earth's magnetic field was pointed negative for just a little bit while this coronal hole was facing us. That can make a difference in propagation. And that's what happened earlier, but I believe we're going to rebound quick and have great conditions. Here is actually where the sunspots are on the sun right now. Look at that. That's an amazing number. Take a look. 2993 all the way in the top left, then goes all the way down there to 2996. There are 4 sunspot regions there. 2997 is kind of trailing behind a little bit. It's like the little puppy dog behind him. And then 3 groups together coming back on the front side of the sun. That is solar sunspot number 3000, 3001, and 2999. We have some great conditions coming, my friends. Last 3 days of solar activity. Yep, there are 8 sunspot regions visible right now. No solar flares, but we're at the C flare level just as a baseline. So that's a really, really good thing. Not anything to worry about there. K-index, here's where the problem was. It happened about 6 hours ago. We hit K5, then down to K4, and that raises noise floors. What it also does is it pumps up the aurora for people who like to work the aurora borealis or aurora australis. Here's what it looked like when that happened, and here's what it looked like in the south, so the aurora australis. Our forecast for geomagnetic storms, and this is basically noise floors, how quiet it's going to be on 40 and 80 and so forth. Right now, it looks like it's going to be about as bad as it's going to get. Should drop down to a K2 later today, a K2 tomorrow, and look for maybe a big one, a geomagnetic storm coming on Friday. That'll be a G5. So We'll have to wait and see if that actually hits or not. And what happened today was pretty unexpected, actually. Take a listen for this. This is actually from SolarHam. You'll find this at solarham.net. An unexpected geomagnetic storm today is a BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field. Again, that's the planets and their magnetic impact on our magnetic field. That's where the noise floors come from. That's how sometimes you turn the radio on, it might be a little more static, while other times it's a lot quieter. It's because of this. It's because of the K index. There's a minor G1 observed at 1402 UTC, and they talk about, aurora watchers. I don't think it's going to get that far south tonight. SFI 150, that number has stayed significantly right there. Solar number 126 also stayed there. A of 3, K of 1. Now at 1456 GMT, which is right after this happened. Because remember, this says here 1402. Here is 1456. You can see the BZ latitude is really negative, minus 7.3. It is really going to be loud then on 40 and 80 today, because that's a big knock going, negative BZ. So the solar wind was 452.9, but there is hope. Take a look at the same exact QRZ forecast, and we're looking at it 5 hours later, okay? The A and the K are A3, K4, still the same SFI of 150, but we go to BZ latitude, it's no longer negative. It's coming forward again, positive towards the north. Solar wind 465.6. Then another reading that came up after that, actually. I took another reading of this at 2041. Everything stayed the same except the BZ latitude went even farther north. This is good conditions, so you should have a decent day to work your radio today. Current MUFs around the world, there's a pipeline open between U.S. and Europe on 15 and 17 megahertz, 15 and 17 meters. Also, don't be afraid to try 10. You can get 10, especially on digital modes. Here in the States right now, we're looking at voice modes in the south only. So Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and it will slowly push its way towards the west and north. I don't think it's going to go too far north. You folks in Colorado and Utah, over towards Nevada, so forth in the west, probably going to be tough to get on 10 meters voice, but you'll definitely get it digitally. I'm working 10 digital right now, so it's definitely working digital, but it's not working voice, okay? Here in the West Coast, 25 megahertz out of Southern California, 21 near Idaho. As you head down towards South America, look at that. The lowest is 28 megahertz way south, and then everything from there is either 30 or 40 megahertz. Europe looks great. Look at that. UK is at 25 megahertz. On the mainland near France, 29. Heading down towards Italy, look at that, 30 megahertz. Still great conditions at night. This is at night, 30 megahertz. Wow. In the Middle East, 20 megs if you're up, maybe you're just north of Egypt. As you go towards the Far East, okay, in Europe, in Tokyo right now, they're right about 22 megahertz. In Australia, 12 megahertz north of the Gold Coast, 13 in Melbourne, and 11 if you're in Perth. Our shortwave and ham forecast today, great conditions day. It really is. 20, 17, 15, 12, and some 10. It's going to work just like it has the last 7 days. It's just going to go from the south of the, your northern hemisphere and try and work its way north. You'll be able to work digital. There's no question. You can work FT8, but working voice is going to be a little sketchy. If you're in the mid and southern latitudes, and I mean tropic to tropic, in that area, you should be fine on 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. You've got decent CB radio skip in the mid and south, spotty openings in the north. Your data modes are fine, 30 to 10 meters, north, mid, and south. Nighttime handband openings, and this is where there's a little bit of a caveat, 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, and they will be loud as heck. So watch your noise floors, your headphone volume. It's going to be a little loud tonight unless conditions really change from here. Best DX at sunset, your MUF, work your MUF at sunset, then go to 20 meters. It'll work late into the night, and it's going to work DX for you. Then go to 40 meters if you're still awake, okay? It should work a long time. So tonight should be a good night for your radio. Just try and stay on 20, which is much quieter than 40, okay? Shortwave bands 31, 25, 22, and 19. Nighttime shortwave tonight 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and 100% of the 19-meter band should be open in the Northern Hemisphere. And what's cool about 19 is got a lot of content on it. I don't know if you know this or not. But 19 meters, you can get a lot of stuff on 19. You really can. And what I like about it, honestly, is that you just can hear some pretty special countries you normally might not know about. Today's solar forecast DX rating is a 6. You'll work well during the day. At night, be careful because of high noise floors. And that's your forecast. I hope you guys can make use of the daytime and work the best you can at night, okay? Happy Wednesday to you, wherever you may be. I'll catch up with your comments, and then we'll get in the show. We got a lot of stuff to cover today, really do. There is plenty to talk about today on the show. A lot. Okay. Let me go back up, and I'll zoom up quickly before we miss anybody. Rodney, this is great. This is from Holland. So they've already experienced. They're at night right now. Please don't talk about 40. It is noisy today. No! I bet it is. Yeah, it's just... You could tell because when you look at this, and one of the things people look at, I hope, is the signal-to-noise ratio. That's the third from the bottom on the left. See that? S3 to S4. That means the voice signal is going to have to be at least an S4 to be heard for the most part on 40 and probably even worse on 80 tonight. Just going to be loud. So just make sure and watch your headphone volume. You should be good. You should be good. Rodney, nice to see you again. Also, Aaron from Wales, Mike Whiskey 7, Oscar Foxtrot Sierra, Ron Walensky, November 8, Whiskey Charlie Romeo. What a great group. Tom is here from the airport all the way in the Middle East. Tom, welcome. Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. That was your song. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, mate. That's good. Tom says 12 meter was really hopping this evening there in the Middle East. So Tom is near Bahrain, and there was some good condition, which is great. Ron in eastern Pennsylvania, west, worked United Nations in Austria today on 10 meters. Nice call, Rod. Whiskey 3, Mike Papa Golf. Wow, nice call. And Dirk, thank you for the MUF map information there. Spike, now it's Spike Submarine Radio. You were late, Larry. See, what Spike does is Spike has like an alarm clock on his phone, and if Larry's not on in time, then he's just like right there. What are you doing? I'm getting charged by the hour here. So I ate your Sammy here in a slice of apple slurp. Well, doggone, you didn't save anything for me? Okay. Yeah. I wish I could have got on here in time. It was a tough day to do so. Andy Cowley, 10 was good to the Middle East today. Yeah, I bet it was. We'll talk about that today. We'll talk about the radio conditions and also talk about FT8. FT8, as I'm beginning and new to it and what it does. I did a little experiment. I'll take you along for the ride. Also, welcome, Chris, Digital Analog Ham, 2 Echo 0 Union Kilo Hotel. Is that right? I think that's right. I think I got it right. It's getting hard to memorize all your calls. That's been kind of tough. Hi, Mike. Kilo Foxtrot 4, Bravo Oscar Golf. Nice to see you. Dirk in Wisconsin. Favorite QSO was my first. HF with Michael. KB9 Victoria Bravo Romeo doing a POTA in Wisconsin. That's a nice call, Dirk. That's really been nice. Steve in the UK. Just been working 10 meter and 15 meter FT8 and FT4. Very, very good. Nico Therion, welcome. May have gotten ARRL membership today. That's good. Congrats on that. Wow, very nice. Lance, hi, my friend. November 4, Lima Delta Bravo. Hey, everyone. Larry, you, the space weather, easy to understand and fun. Thank you. I'm turning into a solar weather nerd. Bless your heart. Thank you, Lance. I'm not like Dr. Scope. She's really smart. I just try to make it short and hopefully understandable. Hopefully. Andy, 40 certainly was noisy. Lots of QSB, too. Yeah, it'll be that way. My mate, Greg, all the way in Vancouver, Washington. Welcome, Greg. Good to see you. Larry, I've not been around of late. Looks like you're feeling much better. You know what? It's just this is just like my time to relax. It's fun. I enjoy this. Greg, I am honored you're here. Thank you for coming. I mean that sincerely. And yeah, we're working on getting better. We're getting there. Getting there slow and sure. All right, we're going to talk today about a radio. And we've done this a little bit where we tried to bring on starter radios for people, to begin in ham radio. And it's kind of a three-part thing. And you know what? You get to save on this, by the way, because I made sure to eat the commercials for you, okay? Yeah. So this is going to be on a really good starter radio for you if you haven't got your first rig. Now, it's no longer in production. However, it really does a lot of good things. And if you'd like to take it to a park, maybe off on the road, maybe you'd like to use it from home, it's a really good radio. The Yaesu FT-897, and we'll give credit to the channel holder in just a moment.
Yaesu introduced the FT897. The 897 was patterned after the earlier released and still very successful FT817 QRP transceiver. The 897 shares some of the same attributes. It covers all bands from 160 meters up through 70 centimeters. It's got capability for an internal battery pack, and it's got a rugged design. The 897 morphed into the 897D, which differed only slightly. Then a couple of years ago was replaced in the Yaesu line by the FT991. Given the FT897D's long lifespan as an active product, it eventually came under fire by many amateur radio operators for being an old design that had fallen behind the rest of the market in terms of features and capabilities. Many hams were pleased with the new FT991, which brought to market many of the desired new features in a similar form factor to that of the FT897D. There is only one problem with the current situation. The FT991 is not an ideal portable radio. While its compact size lends itself to being easily transported, and the new features make it a superior transceiver when compared to the FT897D, it fails on the most basic requirement for a portable radio: power consumption. Yaesu beefed up the 991 with some tremendous technology, including enhanced digital signal processing and a large color screen. These new features make operating the 991 a real pleasure. However, all the new features consume a lot more power than the stone knives and bearskins approach utilized in the 897 series. Having said all of that, let's take a look at a few of the reasons why the FT897 is still considered an extremely useful portable rig today.
And that's where the commercial hit. So there's a lot of stuff to the radio, right? You can do a lot with it. What's cool about this is he goes into a lot of stuff that talks about how special the radio is. Now, if you've ever worked portable, ever, you know that you've got to watch your battery, right? Because that's what you've got to be careful of losing and dropping down quickly. It goes down quickly. You're not on the air unless you got some more batteries. The 897 excels in a way that many radios don't because of its lack of power consumption need. Let's take a look at the second part of the video where I saved you the commercial and give you a chance where you can hear a little bit about just how power careful the Yaesu 897 is.
Perhaps the very best feature of the FT897 is its low current draw on receive. This is the feature which led me to purchase a used FT897 for about the same price I would have paid for other, more modern compact transceivers. When the radio is set up for maximum power efficiency, the FT897 will draw less than 700 milliamps on receive. Compare that with the FT991, which draws in excess of 2 amps on receive. Similar current draw of 2 amps on receive can be found in almost all other compact and mid-sized transceivers from other manufacturers. For example, the ICOM 706 series and the ICOM 7000. Power drain on receive is extremely important, as even in a contest environment, the transceiver will be in receive mode most of the time. Naturally, this is an extremely important specification, as current draw determines battery life when operating in the field. When operating on battery power, it's extremely important to keep an eye on the voltage being provided to the transceiver by the battery. Most transceivers do not have the capability to display input voltage, but the FT897 does. Having the voltage reading on the display means not having to carry a voltmeter along with your portable gear. That means one less thing to forget and keep track of. When the display is configured correctly, the voltage is shown at the upper right-hand corner, This allows you to notice when the battery is running low, and at that point remove the spent battery and put a fresh, fully charged one in its place. This is not just a consideration for good operating, but potentially also for the health of the transceiver, as microprocessors found in rigs manufactured over the past 30 years can produce unexpected and adverse results when the voltage is too low. When operating the FT897 on battery power, I suggest pulling the plug or replacing the battery when the voltage drops to 11.5 volts. There are some great competing 100-watt HF portable transceivers in current production and on the used market, but few have the ability to operate from 160 meters to 70 centimeters in all modes. Even though most of us operate HF portable for fun, I think we can all imagine a scenario where our gear might one day be needed in an emergency situation. Having more than just HF in the box is a big bonus and gives the operator more options. By the way, many VHF and UHF weak signal operators swear by the effectiveness of the 897 for CW and SSB performance on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. I haven't mentioned some of the Yaesu offered options for the FT897. These included an internal AC supply, internal batteries, and an optional bolt-on tuner. Now, one note about the batteries here. The batteries are expensive. The charging system for them is similarly expensive. While they're very handy and those that have them have used them to great effect, be aware that you can use external SLA batteries, which will cost a fraction of the amount and provide similar operating times, if not better. However, do bear in mind now you're carrying a separate item and the associated gear that goes along with it. The FT897 is a great physical specimen. It's a solidly built radio with quality switches and knobs. It's not at all plasticky like many modern small transceivers. The VFO knob is large and has a big rig feel. From the moment you pick the 897 up, it's apparent you won't have to baby the radio when you take it into the field. At 8 pounds, you're not likely to have it slide off the table if you pull the microphone cable too tightly, or if someone trips on the coax, heaven forbid. Look at the carrying handle on the side. It's the best one I've ever seen on a radio built for the ham marketplace. This radio was truly built for the outdoors. Okay, we've heard the good. Now let's take a look at some of the knocks against the FT897. Perhaps the most common complaint lodged against the 897 is its noisy receiver. Full disclosure on this one, the FT897 does have a noisy receiver, especially when compared to many modern transceivers that feature IF level digital signal processing. What is key to note about the 897's lack of IF DSP is that in this case it's actually a good thing. This is because IF DSP draws a lot of current. The vast majority of transceivers that have IF DSP will draw 2 or more amps of power on receive. In practical terms, that increased drain will result in a whole lot less operating time on batteries than the FT897 will provide. The bottom line is that if you're looking for a base or mobile radio that will have a constant, reliable power source, you might want to look elsewhere. But for battery-powered portable operations, the noisy receive is a trade-off for extended operating time. Let's also not forget that when operating HF portable, you're likely to experience more ambient noise in the outdoor environment than that in your home shack. In portable situations, the background hiss heard on the receiver is not nearly so noticeable.
And there you go. That's a good, I think a very good job on Outdoors on the Air on the Yaesu 897. I think it gives you enough information on it. It's a good rig. Good rig. Yeah. And again, you can find the radio itself. There are some great ads out for it if you want to take a look at some of those. In fact, I'll show you a recent ad that's currently on QRZ because that'll help you to understand what's going on here with the rig. Let me go ahead and go over to a new slide here, and we should hopefully be able to get you on.
NASA's Hubble Space Telescope.
And that's not it. Oh my God. All right, hang on, guys. Let me get the right thing for you here. All right, there we go. So this is this is one that just was on QRZ today. Just did a little pop over there and thought, well, let me see about the 897, and there it is. 897, and it comes with a tuner as well. It says it has no filters, but works great. Tested while hunting for POTA parks. Radio looks super clean. Tuner has some scratches on the case, but works great. So this is the 897 plus the tuner. It doesn't have the boxer manuals, but you see the price, $850 shipped to all 48 states. It's a really good example of what you can find this radio for price-wise. It's between usually about $800 and about $950 depending upon condition. So when you get to the point where you're maybe wanting to buy one of these and you're considering it, know what else is out there. We're going to take a look at the Zygu. I had to think of the name, sorry. Zygu 5105 on tomorrow's show. So another first-time radio. So if you want to buy it maybe as your first, that would be an option, especially, QRP rig. Charlie had mentioned it. That's one he likes at Red Summit RF. I think it's got some potential. Charlie, by the way, speaking of him, I ran emergency solar power, so the low power consumption is awesome. Oh, of course, I take it out portable too. Yes, you do. And that's the reason I did that video today, Chuck, is for you, because you talked about that. And Charlie, also, the FT897D was my first 100-watt HF radio. I bought it from my shack and is still my only 100-watt radio and still my primary home rig. It says a lot about it, right? You can take it on the road with you or use it at home. It's a very good radio. And again, price-wise, it's a lot to start with. I know it can be expensive, but what you're getting is something that's going to last a while. It's ruggedly built and it's reasonably priced used. So I hope you guys enjoyed that segment. We talked about a Yaesu 897 today. Cool. Seems like a lot of people liked it as well. Yeah. Portable Zero has some nifty side rails for the 897 and most other portable radios. That's pretty cool. Thank you for the information there. John Hummel Newell, so far my favorite QSO was through the ISS crossband repeater. I would take that call any day. Nice call, John. Nice call. All right, Stephen UK. My favorite QSO so far was my first ever SSB DX, which was to New Brunswick, Canada on 20 meters. Isn't it funny how you remember that? It's like your first call. It's like then the antenna works, the radio works. It's just a nice feeling. Steve, thanks for sharing a memory with me too, because that's something that I remember as well. Thank you. That's nice. Thank you. I mean that. Seriously. Good stuff. Yeah. I think the thing about the 897 to keep in mind is what you get is you get rugged dependability, right? You get 100 watts, you get HF, VHF, UHF. And it's going to be working for you outside or inside. Does a lot of stuff, so it's pretty cool. We're going to honor somebody today that watches the channel. We try and do this every day. It's an opportunity for us for me at least, to look and say thank you for watching this channel. And because I know you have a choice. I know there's a lot of people out there who you should be watching as well, who are out on YouTube, but you take time to spend with me. And that means quite a bit to me. Today we're going to do something we're going to switch up a little bit, okay? We have someone who is brand newly licensed, and I mean within the last week. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to honor, and take a look, I'm new to ham radio, officially licensed in Australia, Foundation ham license on April 20th, 2022. Congratulations, Victor Kilo 1, Delta Oscar November, Don, also known as Don's Locks, from Canberra, Australia. Welcome to Amateur Radio. Good to have you, mate. Good to have you, mate. Take a look at what he's got. He says, so far, he just has some HTs for now. He's looking for his first new HF rig. That's a list of what he has from the Anytone ATD 878 all the way down to the, I think he's got the Baofeng, too. Yeah, Baofeng VU9R. So he's got quite a bit of handhelds there. He's looking at possibly the Zygu 6100 for a first step into HF, but he hasn't decided yet. Also, he ordered the Coffin ham radio antenna. They call it the KAHR antenna. So the Coffin ham radio antenna and fed antenna kit. Don, all the way from Canberra, Australia. Thank you so much for watching Ham Radio Live. We appreciate you a lot, Don. Seriously. Love your comments. Enjoy staying in touch with you. So thank you, Don. You're a good man. All right, let's look at your comments, and we're going to go into the show. Talk about FT8. Remember, I'm new to digital. I'm a sideband guy, but I want to give it a real shot and make it sure that I did a little bit of experiment. I'm still in the middle of the experiment, by the way. I ran it at 20 watts for I did it for 20 hours. So it was 20 for 20. I did bands that I felt that I knew would be working based on conditions. So 10, 15, and 20. Those were the three bands I worked. And the results were astounding to me. They really were. It was 20 hours, but it was pretty cool. I'll show you that in just a moment. Let me clear up your comments first, and we will skedaddle over to that segment. Dirk, hello to Charlie and Red Summit. Rob, welcome. And this is such a neat guy. Rob Q, bless his heart. You're a fine American and model ham at Ham Radio Live. You rock. Thank you, Rob. That's nice. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Jeremy, welcome. Albany, Oregon's here just south of me. Kilo 7, Victor Foxtrot Oscar. We got Gordo all the way from the UK. Mike 7, India November Tango. Thank you for coming, Gordo. My best to you and your mom. All right, I hope things are going well. Charlie at Red Summit, favorite QSO, 5 watts with a questionable antenna into Indonesia at the bottom of the sunspot cycle last time. Wow, that's amazing. That's a call to remember. No kidding. No kidding. No kidding at all. That's good stuff, Chuck. Well done. Yeah. What is your favorite QSO? What's the one that you did that really stood out to you? Put it in the comment section. We'll make it part of the show. Also want to welcome our dear friend Kjell all the way in Norway. Thank you, Kjell, for joining the show, as well as Robert Varner and Darren Barwick from the UK. 2 Echo 0, Oscar Bravo Mike. All right, let's check. The angry hams up there are pretty upset. We'll see how the show goes, and hopefully we'll be able to make it good at a trivia. Hang on.
So they blew up half the theater.
At least they blew up the right half. There.
The angry hams. Yep. Always positive, always thinking of others. Great. Okay, so North America at this point in the month, which is April 27th, North America has a slim lead. It's 115 to 110 over the world. Question number 1. In what year were the first 2x3, example given, Whiskey Bravo 6, Alpha Bravo Charlie, call signs issued that were not for the novice class? Okay. In layman's terms, when were the first 2x3 call signs issued that were not available for novices? Okay. Was it A, 1947? Was it B, 1950? Was it C, 1953? Or was it D, 1958? Guess one of the 4 and get back to me. We'll let you know who gets it right. Good luck to you. That's funny. What year were the 2x3s? Wow, who knew? By the way, I want to welcome Glenn Stevenson, dear mate of mine, who I think the world of in Australia. Glenn, you're here, and I want to say thank you to you because, every time you come, I know you've got a lot on your plate, and I'm trying to scroll all the way up to your first message here when you first came. Glenn, it's an honor to have you here, and I appreciate you more than you know. Glenn Stevenson, a dear friend of mine in Australia. Nice to have you, Glenn. Thank you, mate. All right, let's look at the question again. In what year were the first 2x3 call signs issued that were not for the novice class? First one that comes into the shack with the answer would be Steve in the UK, Mike 7, India Whiskey Hotel. He says 1953. And you know what? You're close. Oh, gosh. Steve, you're very, very close. Glenn in Australia, and he answers D, 1958. Glenn, you did it. You did it. It is. It's 1958. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, the world takes the lead, 120 to 115. That's no kidding. It was 1958. It was the first time you could get a 2x3 that were not available for novice class licensees. 1958 was the first time it happened, and that's when it happened. Glenn, congratulations for Australia and the rest of the world. Kill had A, Andy with D, and by the way, this is the harder question of the two. Michael with C, let me see, Red Summit, Charlie with C, Tom in Bahrain had C, Rob with D, Jeremy with C, Dirk with D, Aaron, you guys, look at you, how good you guys are. Look at all of you guys. Robert Varner, he says D, I'm guessing. Look, in guessing, got it right. Good job, mate. Also, Rob in Los Angeles, he has B. Also want to welcome a dear friend, Graham. Graham is here from Australia. Victor Kilo 3 Golf Echo Kilo. Graham, thank you for being here today. All right, next question. Now, UCW fans should be pretty darn excited about this one because we finally got a good CW question. Here it is. What do the J37, J38, and J45 all have in common? Okay, so the J37, J38, and J45. Okay, are they A, or they are all military surplus headphone jacks? They are B, they are all military surplus 3-pin microphone jacks. They are C, they are all military surplus coax connector jacks. Or they are D, they are all military surplus straight keys. Please let me know with A, B, C, or D. We'll add you to the show. We'll see which continent takes the lead today on the show. Congrats. Also, I do want to reach out real quick to Irving. Welcome, Irving. Nice to see you. November 1, Echo Charlie Charlie. This is hi, Larry and everyone else. Made it late, but made it live again. Irving, we're glad you are here. Thank you. Jeff in Eastern Tennessee, he says, I had a phone call. I'll guess D. Now, Jeff, hold on. Because you came in way after everybody else. So my thought is that you caught this question because today is a weird day. It really is. And this is funny. Steve, D, because Larry mentioned CW. Yes, because I want you guys to get it right. That was why, actually. Okay, so we're going to split the points because both of y'all got D. It is straight military surplus straight keys. Congratulations, you guys. It's good. All right. So what we'll do with it, we're going to split it. We're going to just make it a tie because, Jeff answered first, but Steve caught the clue, so that was good. We'll make it 120 apiece, okay? So the world and North America are tied at 120. Yeah, they're just part of all the military surplus stuff from World War II. They're straight keys from World War II. That's what that was. Also getting these, and by the way, Glenn, you sure did. You snagged one, mate. Good work. That's good. Andy New had A, Aaron with B, Tom in Bahrain had D, Glenn with C, and Spike in Montana got D. Charlie in Red Summit got C, Rob with D, Dirk with B, Mike with D, Jeremy C, DJ, welcome back, he got D, and Red, well, has to be D with that hint, absolutely, yeah, had to throw you guys a little help. Robert Varner said, I'm D, guessing again, well done. John Hummelduel went 2 for 2 with D. W. Kirby, W4, Hotel Kilo Juliet, welcome back to the show, and he had D. Andy, is it really Happy Morse Code Day? Really? If it is, then Happy Morse Code Day, everybody. Congratulations. They have their own day. Look at that. It's kind of cool. Well, now, we also have FT8 Day and Ready Day, and who knows how far it goes. You never know. Thanks for playing, guys. That was a fun game this week, and you guys, you end up in a tie going for the final week into the end of the shows of the month. That's great. You guys could come out. You guys come out tied. Wouldn't that be something? It's never happened before. Question of the show. What's your greatest QSO? The best one. It doesn't have to be the farthest one. Just has to be the best one. I had a QSOs on the show. Excuse me. It was a really fun one. And pardon me, a little frog in my throat. It was a guy that used to work in broadcasting, but he was like way up for like NBC. And we made the call during the show. I can't remember the call sign. I can't remember the meter band, but I remember the call. It was fascinating to me. It was just fun to hear his stories as we went back and forth on the Rag Chew. Gosh, it has to be 200 shows ago, but it was a lot of fun to do. So that was my favorite one, just sharing those out with you. And there's Charlie. Happy Morse Code Day. That's pretty cool. Gosh, I wish I'd known that. I would have said something. Darn it. Darn it. Andy, thanks for the reminder. I was going to post it on Discord, but I forgot about it. I didn't know. I'm sorry, guys. Today was just not Larry's day to get a ton of show prep in for this show. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So we've done our trivia. We've honored a family member here from the show. I want to talk about FT8 real quick. I did a little bit of an experiment for the last day and a half or so. And I did it based on frequency and time of day and based on MUF maps and current conditions. And what I came up with was 20 hours of work of FT8. Now, my power level was 20 watts. I never went above 20, all right? I'm using the DX Commander Classic antenna, the antenna elements are resonant for these bands. However, on 15, it's a multiplier. So on 15, it's simply getting the third multiplier of my 40 meter element. So it did quite well. Let me show you what the results were of just leaving this going and being in here watching it whirl away at the people who were calling. And by the way, I got to tell you guys, I'm on 10 meter FT8 right now, and we're at 10 watts. That's the second test. 10 watts. I want to see how well 10 watts does. So here's the results. Okay, and then keep in mind, this was on 3 bands. This was on 20, 15, and 10. US just loaded up, really did. And it's a good indicator of how you're in the skip zone, say in Idaho, Montana. You see that, how you're in the skip zone. Then suddenly in eastern Dakotas, kind of right along the Missouri River, really, it started to pick up. And all these calls started getting made into the Caribbean. Then, as I went to Europe, look at all the calls into Europe. Again, this was on 20 watts using the ICOM 7610. Based on the stuff that Steve and, Jim and Tio taught me about on temporarily offline ham radio. I'm just so thrilled. Look at all these calls. Even one made to Lebanon and one made to Algeria and the Canary Islands there. If I go towards the Caribbean, all throughout the Caribbean, up into Central America, Panama, and Costa Rica, a lot of good calls made there. And then South America, a few calls down that way too. It was really fun. As we go towards Australia, look at Australia, New Zealand, good calls there. Indonesia, all the way up in towards Singapore. Some nice calls again on FT8 at 20 watts. Going towards Asia, all throughout Japan, Taiwan. There was one in Korea. There was, I think there was 2 in China or 3 in China. And then a couple in the eastern part of Russia. Then going farther to the west, there you see the Russian calls there, and in towards Europe, you see there were quite a few calls there made in Russia. Overall, this is kind of fun. I'm going to share this part with Jeff because Jeff shared this on the Discord channel. He says, finally make sure you change the band in WSJTX2 so it logs in reports to PSK Reporter with the correct frequency. That's very important. And what I love about this is there's some talk about what's going on the radio here. Okay, he's saying I'm here in Europe on 10 meter FT8 right now. That was about 11:43 my time, which would be about 3 hours ago. Andy New, Mike 7 Charlie November said, heard the 100 years of broadcasting commemorative station on 71133 earlier. Special call site, Golf Brisky 100 BBC. And that's part of the BBC anniversary 100th year. So that's nice of him to enter that in. But based on all of these calls around the world, let me kind of give you an idea, just a short idea of what they were to. This is the list of calls that were made based on the countries that I reached out to. And this is, again, was just on 20 watts. So it gives you an idea. It's all alphabetical. But in all, it was over 900 contacts on FT8. And it was 62 different countries. And that's doing FT8 for about 20 hours. That's it. And I got to tell you, I can see the pull for people to do it. When you can work places that you just can't work with a microphone and you're working them easily, right? That's a great thing. It's fun because you're all of a sudden doing DX, right? I miss the challenge of it. That's to be honest. I miss the part of the microphone where you got to pick up the call sign, hear it back, do all that. And that takes work, and I like that work. I'm kind of weird that way, I suppose. But I loved how FT8 did that. Now we want to see how it works on 10 watts of power, and then I want to do 20 hours on 5 watts of power, and then we'll figure out what the answer is when we're all done. No! I think. I'm not sure, maybe not.
I don't think this boy's got all his marbles.
Pretty much.
Shakes his head when he means yes,
Yeah.
nods when he means no.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's it. Yeah, so that's FT8. And for people that have never done it, it is fun. It's very addictive. You simply look at a window, you can see who's on the band, and you can either try and call them or just call CQ yourself. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of skill to do it. It just takes a little work to make it work. Once it works, it kind of purrs along like a kitten. So again, I'm sincere when I say, to Jim and Tio, thank you for your patience and kindness teaching Larry FT8. It's been about a week and a half now. And man, for 20 hours, Almost 1,000 contacts, literally almost 1,000, and 62 countries. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Tom in Bahrain. QSO getting into Maine from Bahrain is always his favorite. He was born in Maine. That's why. That's pretty cool, Tom. That's really cool. Rob in Iceland. Rob would say Iceland was his favorite call. November 7, Tango Tango Alpha. You know, it's funny. I've got a map, a world map right here, and it's about 7 feet long. And gosh, I think of Iceland and how few people would be there. Rob, that's a very cool call. Thanks for sharing that today. That's great. Irving, November 1, Echo Charlie Charlie. 20-minute QSO with a station from Japan on 10 meters 5 years ago. Think about that. It's 5 years ago. But he remembers, and he remembers where it was too. That's how the same thing I remember, it was on, I think it was on 20. It was 20 meters with the guy that used to work for NBC. It was such a cool conversation. Irving, thank you for sharing that. That's a good comment. I love that. 5 years old, he remembers that. That's pretty cool. Gordon in the UK, Mike 7, Indy November Tango. I've got you on my console. I've got the docking of the new crew to the ISS on his tablet. Well done, mate. That's pretty cool. Aaron in Wales. Mine was to a French expedition team in the Antarctic with 10 watts when they had a huge pileup. Think about that. Pileup, right? A lot of people calling. He's got 10 watts. Aaron, I doubt, what kind of antenna? Tell us the antenna. I'd like to know the antenna because that's a big part of that. 10 watts, we made the call through a pileup to Antarctica. That's awesome. Don, welcome. November 5, Sierra Kilo Tango. Always good to see you, Don. Used to talk to a group of folks in Australia, and this is kind of cool, isn't it? You talked to them for several weeks on 10. They were all in VK, and I was the only American. It was such a memorable experience. I would invite you, if you're interested in conversation, meet us after the show. We have a voice channel as part of Ham Radio Live. It's the after show party, and it's just fun. And we have people from all over the world on there, and we just talk everything, whether it's radio or what's going on in our life, whatever. It's just fun. Please join us. I love the part where Don talks about this because it's Australia, right? Indy from Australia sometimes joins that voice chat. And if you want to hear some great stories from an Australian, actually, no, he's New Guinea. He's from New Guinea originally, but raised in Australia. You'll hear some good stuff. Join us on our Discord channel. Here is the link to it. It's pretty easy. It's just ham-radio-live. Do that. You'll hit us up on Discord. And we would love to have you be a part of that because it's fun to talk together, not only about radio, but just hanging out together and sharing memories. So, Don, thank you for that. That's a neat story. Hanging out with some Australians. That's pretty cool. Rod in Western Pennsylvania. Got it right that time. Not a long call at all, but the radio room of the USS Requin, a World War II submarine docked in Pittsburgh. That's pretty cool, Rod. Thank you for sharing. Nice comment. Jeff, November 4, Papa Oscar Delta. Samuel F.B. Morse was born April 27th, 1791. There we go. That's why it's Morse Code Day. It's his birthday. Wow. Thanks, Jeff. That's a good catch. That's good. Greg Lopez, welcome, Greg. It's nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. His call sign, Kilo Tango 4 Romeo Alpha Mike. One of my favorite DX contacts came this morning on 40-meter SSB. I finally got China. Well done, Greg. Congratulations, mate. Kilo Tango 4 Romeo Alpha Mike. I love celebrating with you guys. This is fun, isn't it? Tom in Bahrain, I got into Anguilla today. Anguilla. On 12 meters, Victor Papa 2 call, sideband was super cool. And knowing Tom, he was probably using the Yaesu FT-991A with the MFJ 1979 antenna, and he has no ground radios at 85 watts. Unbelievable. Tom, what you do is crazy. Dirk, your radio has some good ears. Oh, bless your heart. I'm glad it just worked, right? Because I was like, man, how long? Okay, so go 20 hours. Because the first 10 was like, holy crud, this is really making calls. So I thought, okay, let's double it. So we'll do the same at 10 watts. And we'll see how the results are. Because I want to see how it works as a foundation licensee, right? If you've got the DX Commander antenna, which is made in the UK, man, what you might be able to do, you might have a ball with it. You never know. Steve, FT8 is fun and doesn't remove/spoil the fun of also then working those countries on sideband. He's right. He's absolutely right. It's cool to see where you've contacted, whether you do it by computer, a microphone, or just listening to a radio from far away. That's pretty cool. Good point, Steve. Thanks for sharing that. Spike, USS New Jersey on a 13-foot vertical and 5 watts during Museum Ships Weekend. That's pretty cool, Spike. That's pretty cool. Let's see, Greg Lopez. I've never used digital modes. I like the challenge of voice too much. Excuse me, folks. I'm sorry. You know, Greg, I'm with you. I am on that. But there is something cool about seeing the places you're contacting, even though you're not physically talking to them. I can understand the draw for people. I mean, I totally understand it. Very popular with younger people, and I can see why. It's just kind of neat to be able to look back and say, really, that many? It's pretty special. Yeah. Rodney, also doing FT8 while working the gray line helps a ton if your QRP low power. That's right. And that'll work well with any radio, whether you're SSB, CW, FT8, whatever. Gray line works great because if you're at the maximum usable frequency gray line, your call's going to go, could potentially more than halfway around the world, literally halfway and then south or north, for depending where you live. It's a long way. Yeah, good call. John Hummel, FT8 is great for sprint contesting. I like the FT8 off. That's good. That's what they do on what is it, Teal's channel. Yeah, Teal's channel. It's pretty cool. Red Summit. Wait, there's a voice channel? You guys are too much. Aaron, there we go. The antenna was a 12-meter squid pole with a 49-to-1 matching unit. That's wonderful. And when the other side of the story is that what he did was he was in a pileup, right? So he's in a pileup trying to get a hold of an Antarctic station. And what he did was it was a French expedition team right here, is what he's saying it, in the Antarctic with 10 watts using that 12-meter squid pole. Even though it was a huge pileup, he still made the call. Aaron, that could be a call of a lifetime. Well done, mate. That's good. Level of difficulty there is really, really big. Really is. Charlie, I love there's a voice. There's a voice segment. It's great. Greg, if a station identified as a Mars station, it probably wasn't from the Red Planet. Yeah, please don't think that's the case. Country Strong Free. Okay, the Elvis and Elton sing-along with the kids is done. I'm here now. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you. Coming back. Country Strong and Free. That's good. He says, yeah, my 2-year-old twins are Elvis and Elton fans. I love it. That's pretty sweet. That really is. Good. And Rodney, my favorite QSO was around the 90s. 25 watts from Aruba to Canada on a homemade PVC vertical antenna. 5.9 plus both ways. Don't flame me too hard. It was 11 meters. It was still radio, Rodney. Congrats. That's great. Papa Alpha 9 Romeo Whiskey. That's a great call. Really is. Lewis in Heber City, Utah. Kilo 7 Alpha Alpha Golf. Lithuania and Russia on 20 last night. China was there too, but could not hear the dude clear enough to do a QSO. It's still another day, Lewis. You still have another day. Hey, look at this. Chuck joined us. Hey, Chuck. You stud. Good to see you, mate. That's awesome. Good to see you, Chuck. Kilo 6 Union Sierra Yankee. If you've never seen his channel, go to it. You'll learn a ton about radio and antennas and matching units and things that maybe you don't have to spend money for at the ham radio store. You can build it yourself. That's the beauty of what Chuck does. Chuck, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. I mean that. That's pretty cool. Jeff, the best thing about FT8 is I can play radio and do DX while I'm working. That's right. Just kind of work it both ways, right? All right, folks, we're going to close the show because it is time for me to scoot home to myself, too, like Tom is. See, Tom in Bahrain, thanks for the song, Larry. Just arrived home. Glad you made it there safely, my friend. I want to help you. If you want to get into ham radio, this is the greatest hobby in the world. It's so much fun. Where else can you have a computer and make calls like this that you don't have to use a microphone and talk to these countries from your home, just with your computer, right? Not do anything more than just put the program on the computer, let the computer talk to the radio, and then let the radio do the work. This is the greatest hobby there is on earth, and it's not only using a microphone. That was computer to computer all around the world. contact a big radio club. They're going to help you find your license. They will, because what they'll do, you get a hold of somebody big like the Radio Society of Great Britain, tell them that you'd like to get your license, okay? Tell them where you're located. They're going to then send you an email back that'll have an amateur radio club that's in your area. You contact the club. They're going to help you get your license and help you get on the air. A lot of these clubs even will lend gear to brand new hams. Start out by calling the Radio Society of Great Britain. Just hit them on the internet, www.rsgb.org. Hit the contact us bar. They will let you know where a good ham radio club is as close to you. That will help you get on the air. All right, friends. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live today. It is truly my pleasure to do the shows for you. I am grateful for everyone that comes. Thank you, sincerely. Wherever you may be in this world, God bless you. Until we meet again, goodbye, everybody.
This is the Nation Station. WLW, the Crosley Radio Corporation, Cincinnati.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this presentation, we are concluding the broadcasting activities of WLW, the Nation Station, owned and operated by the Crosley Radio Corporation, Cincinnati, Ohio, the United States of America. By authority of the Federal Communications Commission, WLW operates at the assigned frequency of 700 kilocycles and uses a full signal strength of 500,000 watts. Speaking on behalf of the entire staff of WLW, the world's most powerful broadcast station,